everyone to the new season of Howlands at Home. My name is Sarah. I am one of the program directors at Catalina Island Camps, and I am here with a couple of our campers, Allie and Charles. Hey, Allie and Charles, how you guys doing?
We're good.
I see you have a lot of Catalina memorabilia behind you.
Yeah.
I have a special ducky on the street.
Yeah, I'm wearing my silk shirt, one of the camp hoodies from this summer.
All right, let's get into it. So, Allie, why don't we start off with you? How long have you been coming to CIC?
I've been going to CIC since 2013, so this summer will be my 8th summer on the island.
That's awesome. And what's going to be your role this year?
I'm going to be a CIT in session 3.
Can you explain to people who might not know what a CIT is?
So a CIT, it's basically the step before you're a counselor. It stands for counselor in training. And at CIC, what they do is you're a camper, and then the step before a CIT, which I was last summer, was a camper leadership training, or a SILT for short.
Thanks, Allie. All right, Charles, how long have you been coming to camp?
Well, I started coming in 2015, so this year will be my 6th summer on the island. Last summer I got my 5-year blanket. Alessandra has hers right here.
Hi.
They are very soft.
Yeah.
And 5 summers of warmth.
Mm-hmm.
Very fun.
So, Allie, since you came to camp first before Charles did, do you remember all the way back in 2013 what your very first day at camp was like? And can you tell us about it?
Yeah, so my very first day, it was June 2013. I was going for session 2, which is the first 2-week session. And I remember I got to the dock very early. That has happened every year since then. And I remember, I get to the dock, I meet Maria, Jay-Z, the girls camp director at the time, took me over to meet my cabin counselor. Her name was Cassie. And so, I made my little name tag for my bunk. And I remember this tall blonde girl walks over with her dad. And her dad and my mom start talking, and she introduces herself as Caroline. And we found out that we went to the same karate studio. And I remember thinking, since this is the first person that I met at CIC, I think we're going to be friends. We've been friends ever since. And I remember, we meet everybody else in the cabin. We get to the island. We take the tour. And we got a sugar frenzy that night because it was our counselor's birthday. And for those of you who don't know what a sugar frenzy is, it's just like a giant bowl of ice cream with a really big layer of whipped cream on top. And it's like, if you have a birthday while you're at camp, you get a sugar frenzy, and it's so good.
And sometimes there's a ducky, so that's
Yeah.
one of the really big prizes if you have a birthday during camp.
Charles, why don't you tell us about your first day at camp?
Well, since my sister had already been, my first year was going to be her 3rd summer, she had kind of been prepping me and teaching me all the songs, teaching me about all the meals, prepping me about how good all the food would be. And she wasn't wrong, the food was so good. All I remember is, since I had visited her during visiting days before, when I met Richard at the dock before we left, I got to know him pretty well because, as Alessandra said, we always get there really early.
Yeah.
So I was there before a lot of my cabin mates, and since I went to a 1-week session...
Was Richard your counselor or a camper?
He was a cabin counselor. And when we got to the island, it just felt so familiar. Even though I had only been there once or twice from visiting day, it just felt so familiar, and then it just went forward from there, and I had so much fun, and I wish I had stayed for 2 weeks that year because 1 week was not long enough for me.
Yeah.
Charles, what is your favorite activity to do at camp?
Okay, so this one's hard. So, if I had to narrow it down to, let's say, 3, it'd have to go to PBA, sailing, and climbing wall. So, PBA is just overall really fun. If you don't know what PBA is, it stands for power boating activities. Basically, there's floaty thingies that you sit on, and then they're attached to a boat. And we have really amazing boat drivers at camp, and they go really fast, but they can go slow if you want, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Because it's all to your preference. And it's really fun. For sailing is just something that I like doing, and climbing wall is also really fun. The satisfaction of when you get to the top and you look down and see everyone cheering, it's just so amazing.
Nice. How about you, Allie?
So I don't have like a favorite, but if I had to choose, I would choose target sports, specifically riflery, Hobie sailing, and either climbing wall or the ropes course. So a Hobie is basically like a double sailboat, and like it's like really big, and there's like this little like mesh part in the front, or in the bow if you speak sailing, like. And if you sit in the front, you can sit like either on the benches on the side or in the little mesh part. And if you sit in the mesh part, you get soaked, and it's so much fun.
Yeah.
Charles, can you tell us about a really good counselor who you had at your time at camp?
Well, all of my counselors have been amazing. That's kind of a given at CIC, but one that really stood out to me was in 2018, Adam. Adam was my counselor. He was actually in the first season of Howlands at Home. Well, Adam was just a really good counselor. He was really funny. I felt like he was always there, and he'd always be cheering you on no matter what you did. Like when I won my duck on the string, he was going, yay! And then we were still really good friends in 2019.
Okay, Allie, how about you? Can you tell us about a really good counselor you've had?
So yeah, kind of like what Charles said, like I've had like a lot of really good counselors over the summers, but one that has especially stood out to me is I had her 2 summers in a row. Her name's Hannah Nardi, and the second summer I had her, I was in her cabin for 4 weeks, and I just remember like it was like kind of one of the last few nights of the session. I remember she told me, she like sat me down. I was like bawling my eyes out. I'm like, I don't want to leave camp. And she was like, be happy it happened, not sad that it ended, and that has stuck with me for the past like almost 3 years.
Since we talked about food earlier, could you pick a favorite meal that we eat at camp?
So camp food is really good, and I have 2 favorites. Either what they have on Friday, which is like Asian food night, and it's usually like either they'll have like chicken or like rice and like really like good stuff. It's like the stir fry in the veggie bar, and it's so good. And also I really love pizza night.
Yes.
For those of you who haven't had CIC pizza yet,
Just
it's perfection. It's like the perfect amount of dough, the cheese, it's
Chef's kiss.
Yep.
How about you, Charles? Do you just agree with what Allie said?
I have to agree with that a lot. So in a lot of movies, you see like camp food, it looks all gross, but that is so wrong at CIC. The food is so good. If you don't like what's on the main menu for lunch, you can have PB&J. That's always there. But for my favorite meal, it's gonna either have to be for dinner. I'm probably gonna have to go with pizza and Asian night. But the first night, that pasta is so good. As Alessandra said, mwah.
Yeah.
I love pasta night at camp, and I think I can't tell if it's because I love pasta, which I do, or if it's just because I love that feeling of the first night at camp with everyone. It's just such a happy, warm feeling, I think. Do either of you have a hidden talent that you would like to share with our viewers?
Okay, so I had a little trouble finding one of my hidden talents. So for those of you who don't know, I love writing. And for the past like couple summers, I've been like writing down everything that has happened in my time at camp. And this year I'm like super close to finishing. And also one like talent that not a lot of people might know about is I love drawing comics. And last year in my English class, we read this book called Persepolis. And afterward, our English teacher had us make a comic based on a defining moment in our lives. And so mine is titled The Fear, and it's about the very first time that I did the zip line at CIC. And it kind of flashes, it's like starts off with like me on the zip line at age 11, and then fast forward to like me age 15 doing the zip line with my parents watching, and them seeing me not get scared for the first time in like
That's awesome, Allie. Thank you for sharing. Charles, did you have anything you'd like to share?
Well, I have 2 really big hobbies, and this just shows how much of an impact the camp has had on my life. In 2018, Manny, the assistant boys camp director, he taught me one card trick, and that got me hooked on Magic. And the same thing happened this year. A camper taught me how to solve a Rubik's Cube, and now actually I have a cube right here. Now I just solve Rubik's Cubes for fun. I'm a speed cuber, and I can do a 3x3 in anywhere from 10 to 12 seconds.
10 to 12 seconds?
Yep.
Wow, that's very impressive. I had no idea that you learned, or that you were inspired to learn card tricks because of Manny at camp. I love hearing things like that.
I went home, I learned it, and then just kept going, and here we are 2 years later.
My last question for you guys is, if there was a camper out there somewhere who's getting ready to go to camp for the very first time, and maybe they're a little bit nervous, what piece of advice would you share with them?
Well, I would definitely tell them to, don't worry, you're gonna be fine. There's gonna be pasta for dinner tonight. It's everyone's first day. Even though there might be a lot of returning kids in your cabin, it's everyone's first day. You might be stuck with a group of returning campers who don't know each other, and it's a new experience for everyone. And, you are gonna, and have a great time at camp.
For me, I'd probably tell them that about all the fun activities. Like, I describe them, I describe PBA, and they'll be like, whoa, that sounds really cool, and we actually get to do it. They'll be like, whoa, that's so much fun. And before going to camp, I'd give them a warning that the food is really good. You have to prepare for that. And yeah, I just ask them to get ready to have a lot of fun.
Well, thank you, Allie and Charles, so much for sitting down and talking to me about camp today. This has been so much fun, and can't wait to see you again soon.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Bye.
Bye.